Hi everybody, how's it going? Hope you're doing well, and I have to say welcome to patch 14.8 for World of Warships as we celebrate a decade's worth of celebrations for the franchise, and on top of it all, well, happy Father's Day everybody from Australia. Now, for those who are also celebrating Father's Day on the 7th of September 2025, we are having a blast, and definitely it was a great experience, no doubt. For what it's worth, folks, whatever you're doing with Father's Day, I hope you all are having a wonderful time with your lovely fathers out there. You only got one out there, I can say that for sure. But one thing I can say is that I learned from past experience is to always take your time and spend your time with them and enjoy every second of it. And as we get ready to dive into this, well, what's happening with patch 14.8 in World of Warships as it is right now, we have arrived at a decade's worth of celebrations for the franchise. As you and I know, it has been pretty much full on, and you and I both know that a lot of things are happening. So this video is pretty much giving you a bit of a quick insight and pretty much trying to give you a bit of a guidance what you should be doing or what you're trying to achieve and everything like that. But anyways, just give you a bit of a heads up and we'll start right into it. Now, if you are an alpha tester or beta tester for World of Warships back 10 years ago, well, you're going to get some coupons, and the coupons have officially arrived as of this weekend. Now, I know that the other servers might be a little bit delayed. There's been some announcements on the Discord and also on the World of Warship streams, so pay attention to that, but at the same time, hopefully things will be resolved quickly for you. But here's the good news, we're going to get some coupons for you to check out, but at the same time that we got something very interesting. So there's a little bit of an interesting message that I can show you at the top here. It says critical damage to modules. So basically your ship modules can no longer be destroyed. We remove the mechanic. Modules can only be damaged or critically damaged. A critically damaged module can be repaired manually, but will be restored over time. I do have mixed feelings about that, and my point of view is this. I don't mind if someone's modules gets absolutely destroyed because it's realistic. That's just my view. But anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. So in terms of the coupons, let's go click redeem coupons and see what it's all about. So pretty much you click on redeem coupons and it gives you the opportunity to check out what you got available. So the coupons themselves is basically, it implies for the resource coupons that you can use it for, and it's basically focused on coal and steel warships. So basically, if you click on coal, for example, you see that you have the coupons listed at the top here, and then you got your coal or resource. You only get one each, which I was a little bit disappointed with it, actually, to be honest with you, because in my opinion, for this coupon here, these two coupons here, they should be joint. And with a total of at least 3 of them that you can use, and they'll have the combined option of between the following: steel, coal, and research bureau. I don't know why Wargaming neglected research bureau. I think that's a bit of an oversight in my view, but that's just my opinion. I have to say that I was a bit surprised about that, to tell you the truth. So, for what it's worth, that's my opinion about it. But hey, at least you got an opportunity right here and now. So generally speaking, folks, about regarding to the coupons, that the alpha testers get 90%, as well as the beta testers get like 50%, which is great diminishing return rewards. One thing you have to know is that they only used for warships only, not commanders. I mean, like, we have tried it out in terms of the ships, which actually is working fine, which is no problem at all for both different currencies, and which is very easy to use. However, when you try and look at the commander side of things and you got a research on someone that you haven't gotten yet in your port, unfortunately that you cannot buy it outright with the coupons available for you. One other thing that I will say though, that for a lot of interesting parts of the story is that in terms of Reddit, not too long ago, I actually found out something very, very interesting, and there's a little bit of a gossip going on about this, that for players who haven't played World of Warships for quite some time. Now, if you're a beta tester, for example, that you get some great rewards in terms of when you do come back into the game, which is very encouraging actually, which you have 1,000,003 XP, and on top of that, 50k doubloons. Wow, that's a lot of doubloons. But at the same time, 100 million in-game currency, which is fantastic. And on top of it all, well, I have to say 30 days of premium time. So that's actually pretty interesting rewards there, and I have to say that for what it's worth, that is pretty damn sweet, and I am very, very impressed with it. I believe that you have to do some battles or something like that just to get it working, but I do see the pros and cons behind this story as well too, because that the people who have been playing the game for quite some time felt a little bit ripped off, and it's the same time though that the people who are just coming back, they're actually feeling great about it because it's a great opportunity to re-engage with the community and we're having fun again, which is pretty cool. Now, one thing I can say is that for what it's worth for the people who have been playing the game for quite some time, you actually got the Grand Voyage event that's going on for you, and not to mention in the Name of Tomorrow. So in the Name of Tomorrow event that you got going on for you, don't forget that one thing I can stress it out to you is that in the Name of Tomorrow event, that you do have the opportunity for the next 2 weeks to complete the operations, the journey, the storyline, the chapters and everything to get the San Diego. Now, the San Diego is worth about 11k doubloons, which is fantastic. And you do between these 3 lovely operations right behind me, which is Arctic Convoy, Tokyo Express, as well as Pacific Offensive, which is all very good. Now, each and every one of them is fun and engaging. They're pretty much open the tiers from tier 7 all the way through to tier 9, which is pretty nice overall. And it's got a great, bit of a storyline, cinematic, and everything else behind the scenes as well too. In terms of the actual, like the event that I'm talking about in terms of the 10-year stuff that's involved here, which is the Grand Voyage, which I'm actually going to bring it up here. The Grand Voyage stuff is actually very fun and engaging. So you pretty much, with the amount of tokens you can get up to is about 32,000. So you can get up to about 32,000 doubloons all steel for trading it 1-to-1. And if you can scroll down a little bit further, you can get the GQ Johnny, which is actually pretty cool. And if you've got the GQ Johnny already, you can scroll down about this and see that right in here that you see the compensation is 10k steel, which is pretty nice. All right. Now, with that being said, that this is a big event timeline that's going on right now, and I would encourage you to keep going at it. And right now we're at the Decade at Sea event, and we do have it until the 2nd of October at this stage. And keep going through it as much as you can, folks, because it's actually a great opportunity. So there's going to be a lot of things going on in the coming days ahead for the rest of this year, and honestly that the fun is not over yet, because we got the the US Navy 250th anniversary as well as Christmas, and that's coming up in less than 3 months away. One thing I can say is that I would encourage you to really go hard at it in terms of grinding through the events as much as you can as possible, day in, day out, and get it done. And wait for it, we're gonna start talking about these lovely new stuff that's right there above me, right there behind me right now. So let's go ahead and talk about that. So the Shibri Animal Pack, it's up to you if you really want it. I mean, like, if you actually want to get the pack for it, it is quite expensive. But if you look at it very carefully, that the rewards is actually very nice though. But in terms of the Kushiro, in terms of the festive tokens, I'm going to show to you in terms of the actual update navigator. Remember like the good old story about the snowflakes in terms of Christmas or the other events we had in the past? Well, festive tokens is actually pretty cool. So basically that the whatever games you play out of all these ships and the base XP, as you can read down here, that you got until the 2nd of October to do it, and then basically the more games you play, the more the ships you can randomly select and basically click select automatically, for example, and you get some steel and tokens in return. Now what happens with that is that in the armory that I just walked away for a second ago, that it pretty much the Kushiro is actually where it's all at. Now if you want to get 10k in-game festival test tokens as such, I mean, like, you can trade in towards getting this lovely cruiser here, which is fun. It's good to play with. It's actually pretty nice overall. But one thing I can say is that if you're interested in collecting items, you can get the fire destructive event effect as well. Super containers is a really tricky story behind this. In my personal view about the super containers, generally speaking, that the super containers are fun to have, but the Christmas event is actually a lot better, in my personal opinion, over the years. Because if you get the super containers from the Christmas event, sorry, not super containers, the mega containers in terms of the Christmas event, you stand a better chance of getting more rewards than the super containers in other events. And that's just my personal opinion. But the thing is that what you're seeing now is that all these ships that you can get from these packages is actually pretty nice overall. I mean, like, it's actually not too bad for the amount of ships you got available there. But if you already got certain ships and stuff like that, do you get compensated for it? I am actually having a quick look right now. I don't know for sure, but let me just read it real quick. If you already have all the items, the super container drops when these groups, you only receive 1500 doubloons. Ah, that's a bit lame, but disappointing. I'm really disappointed about that. But that's actually, doubloons is nice, but yeah, I probably would have preferred more research bureau. Probably I will actually if I really want to grind the time, do the time, get all these festive tokens just to get more research bureau, I'll probably be more leaning towards that more often. But yeah, that's actually a little disappointing factor there. But getting back into it right now, I will say that these 4 specific containers here, groups here, is actually that you get these unique commanders. All right, so these unique commanders are actually pretty fun to get in the game. Now, the reason why I said like you should go ahead and grind your way through it to get it is because that it's actually nice to have unique commanders for your certain nation lines with different perks and abilities, which is quite beneficial for what you want to do in the game, which is actually very nice to have. The other thing I can say is that the bonus tier 10 package is pretty cool, and also that these economic boosters and signals. Now, economic bonuses, generally speaking, for the blues, the greens are very nice. The reds are very rare, and you pretty much would see that from like different events. Like Christmas is mostly a common one, or the Black Friday event, for example. Things like that, you actually probably be better off, holding off with your money and holding off towards the end of the year and actually wait for Christmas and see what Black Friday is all about as well too. Because in terms of like using the coupons here and now, I would hold it off as much as I can towards the end of this year and use it when you actually have done the Christmas stuff, and then at least you got until the 14th of January just to use it. So that's pretty cool. Overall though, I mean, like, it's actually quite a fun and engaging stuff overall. But before we wrap this up though, there's a bit of a feedback that was being given to me about regarding to this particular thing, the whole dock behind me. Now, the Decade dock is great. Don't get me wrong, the Decade dock is great. The downside about it all, I can't zoom out of it or anything like that, but I can interact with, you know, the desk, the table, and stuff like that. A lot of stuff that we're seeing here is actually pretty cool. I mean, like, you actually can, you know, see that you can tweak it up a little things. Also, like the flag that has been moved up to here as well. Also, the little duck as well, playing with the cat over here. Also, the table itself is actually pretty nice. You can see some animated stuff going on there. The journal here is actually pretty creative, very polished, one done, you know, that sort of thing. It's very nice. It's very well done when everything has been put together there, which is pretty cool. There's a fan as well, so you can actually turn it off and then turn it back on. I don't see anything that I can interact with it on the desk over here, so that's okay. But you know, when you see these sort of things, it's actually pretty funny though, with everything going on, and it's actually pretty cool. You can actually see the wallpaper. You can actually touch that to get the lighting on that sort of thing. See, look at that. It's pretty cool. It's actually very nice overall. The setup is pretty cool. Play the cards as well. There's a few other things, but you know, like there's a dragon that flies past. This is pretty cool, and you know, it actually is pretty creative overall with everything going on. But the problem is that one thing that people did mention to me was that behind the scenes is that this ship here. So this ship here, for example, is that where is the battle button? I mean, like the feedback that I was given to me is like, where is the battle button? That's the one thing that some people have said, that if you had the battle type, the battle button, that's great. Don't worry about anything else. And in terms of like, you know, like the in-game name or the server population or the resources, you don't need that, but just have the battle type and the in-game name. So battle type and then, you know, and the battle button made available for you so that you can actually use it. That's all they pretty much want and going forward. So that's pretty much like a good opportunity with it all. I mean, like I can zoom out of it, which is pretty cool. Even though I love, you know, like the fireworks and everything that's on there and everything like that, but that was the only, you know, constructive feedback that I was given about that. But overall though, that it was actually pretty cool. So for what it's worth though, folks, I mean, like this event for patch 14.8 is pretty damn cool. So that's pretty much it at the end of the day, but hopefully folks that you'll enjoy getting your rewards and whatever you're doing in the game, but at the end of the day, just have fun and enjoy yourselves. Until then, stay safe and take care everybody, and I'll see you around next time.